All right. I have one audience member. Yay! Thank you so much for coming, Nicole. I'm excited. I will just give us a few minutes to make sure that if anybody else wants to stroll in and join us from the very beginning, we give them a little bit of time for that. Also, just so you know, you'll see two accounts open for me. One, that's Doc Hastings, one I'm talking to, and then the other one is just Doc Ed by Doc, and that's just to make sure that I always have the chat open to make sure that if you have any questions along the way, you can definitely ask. Oh, all right, we have a second audience member. These things are always so much fun when we have multiple bodies that are actually participating. So if you could do me a favor as we're waiting, just let's test out the chat box to make sure that it's working. Type hello and tell us like what your major is. We'll start with that. That should be pretty simple. I'm Doc, by the way, and I'm your comm expert. So feel free to, in the chat box, just type in who you are and what your major is. I am hanging out in my office, and so I can hear the people walking in the hallway back and forth, which is kind of cool. First week back of class, definitely. All right. As you all are testing out that chat box, do me a favor and check out my screen. So I have our classroom open. COM 215. You're probably already familiar with this space, which is awesome. Essentially, this is where everything is going to happen. All the magic is going to happen here in Canvas. And so if I send you any announcements, you'll automatically get an email. But also, just in case, the announcements are here too, to make sure that there's always a backup. And so I know that I get hundreds of emails every day. I literally do. And so knowing where the announcements are in case an email gets lost on your end, it'll always be here for you. And so I sent out a lot of messages yesterday. You can check those out if you haven't already. And then our opening module, I know that you all are familiar with this because you all have started to submit your videos and to tell me hello. And I'm super excited about recording videos back to tell you hello so that we actually have a real face-to-face, even if it is digitalized, experience with saying hello to one another. And I also thank you for participating in our Netiquette and Digital Communication Guidelines activity. I know that's not due until Friday, but a couple of folks have already been playing around on that. And so that's really exciting as well. All right, thanks, Nicole. I'm so excited that you guys have found, and Cami, found the chat. I'm glad it's working. Use it anytime that you want to throughout the webinar. I know that I'm the only one who's talking. That helps out in terms of like, there's only 3 of us right now, so I could unmic you. But if there were 30 of us, then we might have a little bit of a problem if everybody was speaking at the same time. So the chat box is the best way to ask a question or to get your 2 words in or 2 cents in if we have any questions along the way. And for this particular activity, I don't anticipate having too much dialogue or interaction. I just want to make sure that you all know that the chat box is available for you. All right. So what I'm going to do now that I've kind of showed you where our classroom is, and you should see that some things are locked, and you'll see 2 or 3 other modules pop up over the next week or so as I'm tweaking the deadlines and just making sure that I have all the right materials for your specific class. So this is not all the material for the rest of the semester or the course, but you will see a couple of more units come out. Perfect. So Cami is a communications major. Nicole, you're working on Spanish, and you already have a bachelor's in marine science. Awesome. I love it. I just never know when or where people are in their life when they actually come and sign up for classes at MiraCosta. Sometimes we get the baby girls and the baby boys who are literally either fresh out of high school or in their last year of high school, which is really amazing. And other times I get people who literally come from all around the world who have just stepped off of a boat because they were in the Navy, or who I have a student in my mass comm class who just came back from a 4-country international tour that him and his family did. His mother runs a nonprofit. And so you really just never know what your experiences are and what you bring to the table. What I do want you to know is wherever you come from, you are welcome. I encourage you to bring all of that information to the class, especially for this particular class, intercultural communication. There is no way that we can talk about culture without you actually acknowledging who you are in the world, what your social locations are, what groups you belong to, what makes you happy, what kind of makes you feel icky. All of that stuff matters. And so I know that socially, we're taught not to necessarily talk about these things because it's not necessarily the norm. It makes people feel a little bit icky. There's some fears involved in that. But by no means do I want you to feel as if you have to leave any part of who you are at the door. Bring it on, and we will definitely find a way to incorporate it, study the self in relationship to the cultures that we are going to interact with all throughout the semester. So welcome to Intercultural Communication. I'm Dr. Rachel Hastings. I go by Doc. It's my 10-year anniversary of celebrating my doctorate. So I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary this past May. It's both exciting and also a little bit like, oh my goodness, I'm getting a little old in the game. I've been teaching communication for 18 years now. And I started out as a teaching assistant where I had a interpersonal class that I taught, and there was a large lecture that the communication expert at the time had, and I worked my way up as I got all of my degrees. And I'll share with you a little bit about my educational experiences throughout the presentation today. But I want you to know I've been in this for a while. What do you need to know about me? I know that's a question that I asked you all in your HiDoc introduction. So I'd like to answer that question for you all up front as well. What you need to know about me is that I am a solo mother of 3. I say solo because when you have 3 children, you're never single. And we have definitely been holding it down in our family. This is my little act, Anya, right here. She's my oldest. She'll be 7 in September. This is Cobus. We call him Kobe, and he'll be 5 in November. He's starting transitional kindergarten this year. And then my tiny tot of the day is Titus, and he's my Titus the Titan. He runs everything. He's just turned 2 in July, is speaking full sentences, making demands. It's simply outrageous how much personality he has. I love them. They are the center of my universe. They're my joy. They're my pride. They're my greatest accomplishment. And I definitely put in a lot of work and passion at making sure that my parenting is in balance with my professoring. So definitely you'll hear about my kids along the way because they're a big part of who I am. You should also know that in addition to my full-time parenting job, I'm a full-time professor, tenure track here at MiraCosta. I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary. I started August 10th last year, and this is my 2nd year of bringing my talents to the table. And I love it here. MiraCosta is a place where you will have many resources as students, but also I have many, many resources as a professor. So I'm 100% dedicated to making sure that my experience in the classroom is beneficial and valuable to you as a student, and it keeps me passionate in terms of the things that I'm interested in as well. So yeah, I'm in it like Bennett. I love this thing. I'm a performing artist, so I do go out into the community and perform. It could be public speaking in terms of giving lectures on different topics that I have passions about, different projects that I'm working on. I do a little bit of poetry, so I sometimes am at the Poetry House, and I publish some ebooks and also some hardbacks depending on what the project is. And I'll share a little bit with you throughout the semester on some of those projects as well. But all of that are things that you should know because those are things that I'm working on an everyday basis. I was only able to do all of these things by actually getting through the programs, BA, MA, and PhD, and putting myself in a position to where I could tap into resources that helped me to explore the things that I love. I started my collegiate career, if you will, at Cal State Chico. And Chico State is about 90 miles outside of the Sacramento area. You all might be familiar with that region because they had a big fires last year in Paradise, where the whole city of Paradise had basically burned to the ground. Chico State is about 15 or 20 minutes away from Paradise. And so it definitely hit home when that was happening. Chico State, I got my degree in journalism. I traveled with the speech and debate team for 4 years, competitively, did very well on the national level. And I was encouraged to get a master's degree. And so that's what I did. I went to California State University, Long Beach. It's probably my favorite city I ever lived in, and I've lived in a lot of different cities. Definitely was an incredible experience for me. I still keep in touch with a lot of the people in the communication department and at the university at large. And so if you're interested in attending Long Beach, definitely keep me in mind, and I'm happy to open a conversation about that. I got my master's degree in communication studies with the focus on performance and rhetoric. So I was interested in understanding how people perform their identity, how they persuade others about their identity, and what that kind of looks like on a public scale. Finally, my mentor there, Dr. Mark Rich, encouraged me to get a PhD. I really say he tricked me, because once I got there, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much school. But once I was at SIU, and there was nothing to do out in Carbondale, Illinois, except study and perform. So that's what I did. I studied a lot, I performed a lot, I traveled a lot, and I got my PhD with the focus on speech communication with performance and cultural studies as my main areas of interest. So all of that has helped me to achieve kind of these levels of being a professor, being a performing artist, a public speaker, a poet, a publisher. And I just love bringing kind of my expertise to the table to you all. So just a few words about me and my background. Intercultural communication is going to be a quick and dirty experience. You have signed up for the accelerated course, so we're going to squeeze 16 weeks worth of work into 8 weeks. So it is going to feel like it's going very fast, but I hope that you enjoy the way that I've designed the assignments. You will have an opportunity to be very creative in how you understand and comprehend the materials, and there will be an opportunity for you to be able to unpack the aspects of the relationships and power and systems that we have in our society. So the critical creative approach is definitely something that I bring to the table. And I hope that it will ease a little bit of the stress on your end. There are no exams in the class. There are no quizzes in the class. It pretty much is put your money where your mouth is on the project itself, and I should be able to see you use the concepts and apply the concepts in the actual activities that we do. I want to make sure that I take time in the very beginning of our class to talk about our digital workflow, especially in an online class. I know that having taught in an online environment for the last 7 years, I know that learning can be a little bit complicated if you don't have a digital workflow. And I also know that in this digital age, as new apps and new kind of like tools are presenting themselves on an everyday basis, that some of us have a little bit of apprehension about just using our digital tools to our advantage. So today what I want to do is I want to take us through how we're going to use each one of the kind of tools, the digital tools that I'm asking you to use along the way. So your cell phone, we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little bit about how and why YouTube is going to be our best friend. We'll talk a little bit about Studio for Canvas. This is formerly known as ARC. So in some of my videos that I recorded over the summer, right as Studio was rebranding, they'll say ARC. Just know that when I'm talking about ARC, I'm really talking about Studio, and that they rebranded right in the middle of the semester, the summer course that I was teaching. And I didn't have an opportunity to redo those videos before the semester started. So ARC is Studio. And then finally, I'll talk to you a little bit about Zoom and how we'll use Zoom throughout the semester as well. If you have any questions along the way, definitely feel free to add it in the chat, and I'll make sure that I stop and take a look just to make sure that everybody is on the right path. Eunice, your audio, your volume is up, can't hear anything. Are you on your cell phone or are you on the computer? That will definitely help out. Really glad that everybody was able to make it. We do have a couple of folks here. It looks like the ladies are holding it down. I love it when my boss ladies come in and hold things down. And so thank you for showing up. I know that it's midday at noon and y'all could be eating lunch. Maybe you are eating lunch, maybe you're on break, but I really do appreciate you coming to take the time to actually join me in real time here. Okay, it might be the cell phone. Check your volume switch on the outside. So if you have your volume on or off so that the ringer rings or doesn't ring, check that and see if that is on. And that may help with putting the volume on. And if that doesn't work, you might have to log out and log back in to see what happens. Little troubleshooting along the way. So let's talk a little bit about your cell phones. I am going to make the assumption, and if I'm incorrect, definitely let me know, and you don't have to do so publicly, but you can always slide into my emails. I'm going to assume that most of us have a smartphone. Now, I'm an Apple girl, so most of my stuff deals with Apple products, but I also know that there's a whole Android community out there. Just know that they're all amazing video and photo kind of like things that you can do on your cell phone. So don't feel as if just because I'm saying use Zoom, that you can't use your cell phone for many of the activities and the projects that we have throughout the semester. If we're shooting short videos, 1 to 3 minutes in length, it's quick and easy to just open up your camera and just say, record, awesome, I did it, and then upload that on the go into the apps that we're using, and it should be pretty quick, all right? So you don't have to use Zoom for everything that we do. In fact, I encourage you to use your cell phone for everything that we do, unless otherwise stated on the assignment. Now, YouTube, a lot of us are familiar with YouTube, but I'm not sure if everyone has had the opportunity or not to actually upload into YouTube a video that they've created. This class is going to teach you how to do that, and it's going to encourage you to keep playlists so that everything is nice and organized. There are a couple reasons for this. One, it saves on upload time. If you've ever tried to upload a regular MP4 file for a video into Canvas directly, depending on your Wi-Fi and depending on how big your video is, how much data space it's taking up, it could take forever. I've had some students who the assignment is due at midnight, who log in at 10:30 to upload their video, fall asleep, because that sometimes happens. I fall asleep at the computer all the time, true story, and wake up and something has happened. Their video is corrupted. It took like 20 hours to upload. It never uploaded. They missed the deadline, yada, yada, yada. I get panicked messages in the middle of the night that say, what should I do? So what I encourage you to do is to skip all of that drama. Go to YouTube first. Upload your video onto YouTube so that you have that, right? YouTube is a multi-billion-dollar business, and so we know that it's going to work and it's going to work properly. You can actually upload from your cell phone or you can upload from the website, right? Both of those are opportunities that you have. Upload your video into YouTube. If you are one of those individuals who are a little bit like, I don't want everybody to see my video, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that you use unlisted and not private. When you use unlisted, that means that if someone were to search for you into the YouTube search engine, your video's not going to come up. The only way people are going to find your video is if you send them the link and then they click on it. Then they'll be able to view your video. If you put it onto private, the only person who's going to be able to view your video is you. And that becomes a problem for me when I'm trying to grade your video in a timely fashion. Right? So to save us all a little bit of trouble, just make sure that you use unlisted and not private. And that way I can still view it, but we'll keep it will prevent anybody else from kind of creeping on your YouTube page. And I know that people can get freaked out about that. So that's my tip there. Once you've uploaded into YouTube, everything else is easy, right? You copy and paste the link and then you share it onto our Canvas page. That takes us to Studio, right? So now you've already recorded your 1-minute video on your cell phone. Great. Then you've uploaded that into YouTube. It took like 4 or 5 minutes to upload. Awesome. Take the link on YouTube, go into Canvas where you have your submission, and then you're going to use Studio to submit it into the actual assignment itself. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch over to our classroom real quick. I'm going to go to Netiquette. I could see already at the top there are some folks who are participating. So that's fabulous. I love this assignment, especially since we get to point out kind of the wrong ways to do things. All right, now notice how my video here is uploaded and it has all this extra on here. That's what you want. When you upload into Studio, that's exactly what you're going to get. If you upload directly into your video it'll just post like this, okay? So let's see here, click on reply. If you click the reply before the right after the question and before the answers, then you're replying to the question itself. You'll see the Studio symbol, click Studio. You're gonna wanna add, so there's this plus button here. And then scroll down and just paste your link to the YouTube video. And once you do that, I don't have it here, but once you do that, it'll give you an opportunity to say embed this video. You'll say yes, and it'll pop up. Let me just go ahead and see if I could do that for you all. We'll take a YouTube video, any YouTube video, it doesn't really matter. We'll do this Instagram video. And we're just I'm not gonna play it for you because we don't need all that. But I'll take the link, I'll copy it, we'll take it into the actual page, we'll paste it, it'll say add, you'll see the video pop up, you'll select this, right? Scroll down to embed. And what you have here is a beautiful display of your video with this little box here. Now, this is the reason why I'm also not just telling you to put the YouTube or embed the YouTube link into your message. We could do that, and that would be fine. But when you use Studio, it allows you to actually make comments directly where you want to in the video. So let's say, for instance, you have an assignment that asks you to, explain 2 concepts of cultural communication. Great. Like, I should be able to go into the video, and at 2 minutes and 51 seconds, you're talking about concept number 1, and I should be able to write my comment about your concept directly where you actually stated it. And then it will pop up right below, and we'll be able to see everything that goes directly to your video. You won't have this long stream of like replies specifically to, right, that actual discussion board. So this is going to keep things nice and neat. It's going to keep things organized. It's going to keep things directly on the video that it's supposed to be on. I think it's well worth it to use Studio to our advantage, and so I'm definitely going to encourage you. And when I say encourage, I mean require you to actually use Studio to our advantage, especially when we give peer reviews and feedback, right? So that's Studio. Any question for that would be awesome. Great, I'm so glad that you got it to work, Eunice, and that we got the sound working, so awesome. All right, now for Zoom. I'm not sure how many of you all are familiar with Zoom, but Zoom is a online iCloud conferencing meeting room. I know that's a mouthful, but basically it's a meeting space online, and you've already done the first step, which is open up an account and join me here and just participate, right? That can be great for us because throughout the semester, there will be lots of assignments that will have a little bit of creative freedom. And I know that you all are going to want to touch bases. And so I will host these live sessions a couple of times over the next 8 weeks to make sure that all of the assignments are broken down to foreverly be broken, and that you have an opportunity to ask questions and get feedback along the way. Also, I want to encourage you to get to know Zoom as a platform because we're going to record our presentations using Zoom. We'll screen share using visual aids, just like I am right now, using Zoom. We will invite others to join our Zoom meetings, and you will learn how to become the host with the most throughout the semester. I really wanted this class to be interactive and engaging, but I also wanted it to have great use value outside of the classroom. So one thing you should know, and this is a cultural kind of manifestation over the last 15 or 20 years, is that the digital world is definitely taking over. So right now, people are using web-based conferencing systems just like Zoom and GoWebinar to actually hold interviews for jobs on the market. So if you're interested in becoming like an entry-level banker for JP Morgan and Chase, guess what? You have to participate in an online interview before you get to that second step. And so this is going to give you a chance to get your feet wet in a very kind of non-pressure kind of way that will help you get started, right? So I really do appreciate that. Kira, that's a great question. Do we need to download Zoom or can we use it in the browser? It's up to you. I have it downloaded on my actual computer. And so I think that you can see my entire screen down here in the bar. I have it actually downloaded as the app. That's because it's easiest for me. I use it frequently, and so I just click on it and go. But you can definitely just go to the Zoom website and sign into your account, and that's easy as well. So either way, up to you in terms of how you want to do that. I think downloading the app, it doesn't take much data space at all. I think it would definitely be worth it. Right, great question. Oh, you're welcome, Cami. I appreciate it. I definitely know that there's a lot, especially with week 1, and it's an 8-week course, so it can be overwhelming, and I don't want anyone to feel as if like they can't conquer this. Once we get into the flow of things, you'll see that it's going to make things really easier along the way. So, woohoo! We're like female strong in here. Like, I don't think there are any men in here. If there's a fella out there, definitely chat it up because I feel a lot of estrogen in this space, which is really empowering. Okay, so the digital workflow. 50% of your assignments is about that digital workflow. I'm teaching you a new tool that goes along with your cultural assignment and cultural concepts. I'm having you actually try something new. Does that mean that I'm going to be docking you all kinds of points along the way if you didn't get it perfect? No. Absolutely not. What you should know about my teaching practice is that I really care about the process much more than I do about the point pinching at the end, right? So a lot of my assignments are graded on a credit, no credit basis. If you participated, you did well, you did your best, great, I'm going to give you credit. I'm also going to assess your work to say, you could tweak this to get better here, to identify the growing pains so that you know how to kind of manipulate and grow along the way. Each of us is going to start out at a different place. I want to acknowledge that. I don't want to treat everybody as if we all have equal grounding when I know that's not true. Some of us will have computer issues in terms of they only use an iPad. Some of us will say, I only, have the internet on my phone. All of those things I want to take into consideration. And I want to make sure you know how to use the tools and the concepts at the end of the class, right? Because the goal is for you to have fluency and fluidity with both the digital communication and with the cultural communication concept. So I really focus on doing both. So I'm really asking you not to like throw the digital stuff out the door. Definitely do it, give it your best. ask questions along the way, and know that I'm not going to ding you extra hard if we didn't get it perfect. I just want to make sure that the growing pains are something that we feel. If you're not feeling any kind of growing pains from using these tools, then we're not doing it right. I hope that you're not an expert in all the tools that I'm going to bring forward. I hope that I introduce you to some new things, and that you kind of pick and choose along the way what works for you and what doesn't, but that you try everything out just to give it a try, right? So just going to put that out there, if you will. That's our digital workflow in terms of like what I expect kind of like the next 8 weeks to go like, and what you can expect the 8 weeks to go like, and what tools you should familiarize yourself with from the very beginning. Already we have 2 assignments for this week. They're really simple and easy assignments. Again, I'm not looking to stress you all out. If you want to get ahead, I would recommend downloading that schedule of assignments that I uploaded on the homepage for you. So on the very first module on the homepage underneath the syllabus, if you haven't read the syllabus, definitely read the syllabus. That's my introduction to you in terms of what I hope the transformations we will gain throughout the course will be like, as well as any kind of guidelines, any resources that you might need to make this experience a successful experience. The syllabus, go to. Also underneath that is the schedule of assignments and resources. That schedule, know that it has 100% of your resources already uploaded and embedded for you. So all the videos that we will be watching and actually applying in our activities throughout the semester, if you want to get ahead, I would use that to your advantage and just start watching and reviewing those videos. Every week on Monday, the next module will come out, and it will introduce the next set of activities and assignments. I tried to keep things really balanced. You'll see next week there's like a new assignment every day, but that assignment really takes about 15 to 20 minutes for you to accomplish. Also, you don't have to submit them on that specific day. I'm just encouraging you to check in every day, because I know that this is a quick and fast class. And so the more kind of times that I can reach out and communicate with you, the more I know that you're going to check in and make sure that you're on the same page. So every day there's going to be a little message with a 1-minute assignment next week that says, can you answer this question for me? But all of those discussion boards won't be due until the end of the week. Okay, so throughout the week, just find time to make sure that you keep up on things, if you will. So this week, by tonight, I hope that you will introduce yourself to me. And then there's a Netiquette discussion board that's due on Friday at midnight. Some of you have already completed that. And then just hop on the schedule of assignments and start watching those videos. And that will set us up for next week's activities. All right, awesome. So we have reached the end of what I wanted to make sure that I discussed with you all. I'm happy to answer any questions with you all about, hold on here. This is what happens when you have everything connected. That's what happens when you have everything connected, is my cell phone is going off, so then my computer is going off, and then my other computer is going off. It happens. So if you have any questions that you have for me, I'm happy to answer those. Feel free to use the chat to your advantage. And I'll just hang out here too for a few minutes and make sure that if you all have any questions that you want to ask, that I'm available for you all along the way. So should you also be typing your responses with your video uploads? That's a good question, Melissa. I think that you're welcome, Cami. I definitely appreciate you coming and definitely look forward to your assignments too. Melissa, uploading your videos, some of them you won't have a written response. Some of it will just be the video, and there won't be write it and speak it. Sometimes I'm just interested in you pressing record and just giving me your answer. Other times there will be an actual prompt that will say, this will be the video part, and then this will be the actual kind of like, you know, digital journal that you will turn in, and that will have all the images and all the writing or the text that goes with that as well. Each assignment does have its own prompt that gives you the specifics. I would just make sure that you go through that thoroughly and make sure you know kind of what should be submitted and when. And then also, as a heads up, if you're not familiar with Canvas, it's a little bit weird for the students. I might say, please submit these 3 things: a video, an essay, and a PDF document of blah, 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 blah. Great. You'll go ahead and submit those, but on your end, you might not see all 3 submissions. And so you'll think, oh my goodness, I didn't submit that. So you'll resubmit and resubmit and resubmit. Just know that I see every single submission that you put in. Yeah, so it's happened before where I don't know why Canvas does this on the student end. It's super annoying. But if you don't see all of your uploads, if you're only seeing one of your uploads and you know that you submitted all 3 of those, definitely make sure that you put it in the comments. Hey doc, like I just want to make sure I turn all 3 things in. I can't see it on my end. And I'll let you know if there's any issue. Try not to email me to say, can you check or can you do this, just because I am going to be in the grade book and I'll see the comments and I do read the comments and I respond to the comments. Just keeps everything kind of streamlined on the specific assignment itself. And like I said, my email is a mess. Like I get many, many emails every day and I want to make sure I prioritize your comments. So you're welcome. All right, awesome. Good question, Kira. When we need to film videos, can we hold up the phone like a vlogger? Oh, fabulous question. That I should have brought in my, and maybe I'll go ahead and post a little, write this down. I'll post a little digital tools kind of meme that I made for suggestions that will help you out. There are a couple things that I suggest. It depends. Can you hold your phone like a blog? Sure. Sure. For the 1-minute speeches, I think that's fine. I think it's better if it is stable and it is resting on something. You could do it forgive me, we're going to be friends here, but you could do a basic bitch, you know, like put it on some books and make it stand up and then you're standing there. That's perfectly fine, right? If there are no books in this class, I haven't required you to spend any money. If you want to invest in a mini tripod, I use a couple of them. The Manfrotto tripod is awesome. It's super, super great. It runs you $20. You can also get a selfie stick. That works out great. Those are under $20. And I have some that you can check out for me if you want to just check it out for 8 weeks. I've got like 6 or 7 of them. But it really helps when you have something stable. The ones that I have also have a Bluetooth remote. And so if you wanted to check that out, you can actually, you know, put it across the room so you have a nice kind of like, you know, full mid-range, you know, look on it. And then from there, you can press record using the remote and you can try out kind of your videographer skills, right? So play. That's what I encourage you to do. As we go throughout the semester, you'll figure out what's best for you. And if it's extra basic, that's perfectly okay with me, as long as you get a clean image with clean audio, right? If I can't hear you, I can't grade you. If I can't see you, I can't grade you either. Really good question. All right, you're welcome. Sorry, one of my videos went out here. All right. No, Eunice, that's a good question. If you've already submitted the link for the HiDoc, you don't need to resubmit using Studio or YouTube or anything like that. I totally understand that the first assignment is one of those hit or miss opportunities. Some students just want to get it in, so they upload it and it works for them. Some students are already going through the materials and looking at how to use YouTube and how to use Zoom. So whatever works for you for the first assignment, the most important thing is to get it in so you don't get dropped from the class. So good job, you already got it in, you're one step ahead of the game. Moving forward, try the digital workflow, because that's when it is going to make a difference. Good question. All right, I love emojis, the big thumbs up. I love hashtags, I love emojis, so don't be surprised when you see me start including those in our announcements, in our messages. Perfect. So it looks like we had a lot of folks come in. Eunice and Melissa, Esmeralda, Kira, I think somebody disappeared on us already. Cami, thanks everyone. I really do appreciate y'all coming in. I love doing these like little webinar sessions. And if they're small like this, we can really make it more discussion based so that you all get an opportunity to kind of share your voices with one another, share your projects with one another. And so please keep coming back. If you can do me a favor before I let you all go, did this time work out okay for you? Like 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock time frame? If it worked out really good for you and you think you'd be able to do this time frame and again, can you just give me a thumbs up in the chat so I can make sure I keep that as our time and I don't manipulate that too much? Oh, awesome. Sweet. Lunch break. I have my coffee. I was talking so fast I didn't drink any of it, but bring your snacks, bring your lunch. Brown bag, opportunity for everyone. Great. Awesome. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad to see all the thumbs up. Listen, I'm going to be giving you all some video feedback on your HiDoc introduction, so I'll talk to you each individually as we move forward. But if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out and send me an email. That's what I'm here for. And I also do have face-to-face office hours on Thursday afternoons from 12 to 2 o'clock. So you can always come and see me down in the office. If you're here, some of you all might be somewhere else. I had a student who was in Italy this summer who was taking my online class. And so if you're around and you want to come hang out, definitely do so. All right, well, it seems like our questions have died down, and so I will let you all go, but thanks again, and I will see you all online. See ya. You're welcome. Have a great weekend. Good luck with classes. You too.